Finally, somebody said it. Amongst all these feckless leaders and governments, we have found a champion. President Erdogan of Turkey comes to the rescue of integrity for humanity and speaks the truth about Hamas being liberators and not terrorists. And I stand behind him. Let's go.
No one can do it better.
And in Turkey now, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has called for an immediate ceasefire. He also proposed an international conference to reach a lasting peace.
Hamas is not a terrorist organization, but a group of liberators and mujahideen fighting to protect their land and their citizens.
Erdogan also condemned Israel's actions in Gaza, which he calls a massacre.
It is time to speak openly about the situation of those who turn a blind eye to hundreds of children, women, and innocents who are brutally murdered every day by legitimizing these massacres over some actions that we do not find right either, but also cannot even be compared to these massacres.
Well, our correspondent Rasul Sada, who's covered Turkey extensively for us, joins me now in our Doha studio. Rasul, are we sensing here a shift in rhetoric from Erdogan today? And how's that likely to go over with regional leaders?
I wouldn't consider that as a shift. However, we definitely can see that now it's tuning up. So he's speaking up. Because officially and legally, Turkey has never recognized Hamas as a terror group, despite lots of pressure from the Western countries, from Israel, on Turkey to put Hamas on a terrorist, but that has never been the case. So this is not a new position that Turkey is not recognizing Hamas as a terror group. However, the timing is delicate, as particularly the Western leaders are now equalizing both Hamas and ISIS together. So a leader of a regional country, regional power, coming up and saying that Hamas is not a terror group, but a liberator that's defending their lands that are occupied by Israel is quite time sensitive, and it's quite remarkable in this context. But previously he will go even further and call Israel as a terror state. But now we can see that he's not uttering such words. So it means that this is not a rupture. So he's not burning up all the bridges. He still wants to keep the good relations with Israel, good relations with the West. But on the other hand, by calling Hamas not a terror group but the liberators is actually indicating a kind of the root causes of this crisis. He said that there is a context of this. So there is an ongoing occupation since decades, and what happened on October 7 is not the beginning. However, is a consequences of the decades-long occupations and the wrongdoings. So it's not a rupture. However, it's quite remarkable that after 2 weeks of almost silence, President Erdogan is coming up and speaking that much on high volume.
Well, speaking of coming out and raising voices, do you think that there's more unity emerging now in the region, especially as we're seeing this death toll continue to rise?
I think so. Look, it's like when we see today Erdogan saying that he's calling for an international mechanism to be established, and particularly the important regional actors also to be present there, not only politically but militarily as well. And he says that Turkey is ready to contribute to that mechanism or to do whatever is necessary politically and militarily. So what I understand from that is that he's talking about a peacekeeping forces that is not just going to be secured and conducted by the United Nations, but a different mechanism that the regional actors are also involved. So on the other hand, the Turkish foreign minister has been on a regional tour. He was in Iran yesterday and then went to the UAE and today was in Qatar. He's trying to also promote a regional front here. So Erdogan is also talking about that. So as the Western front of the world is united behind Israel, now they're trying to promote a regional position here that they can put a kind of counter narrative and also put a pressure particularly on the US and Israel. So yes, he's talking about an international mechanism that has a deterrence, that has the political power and also the military power as well. Whether that could happen or not is a different issue. However, that's quite new.
Finally, somebody said it. President Erdogan comes to the rescue of integrity for humanity. He says what none of these feckless leaders will say. Not Biden, not Macron, not the UK, none of them. None of them will stand up for the truth. Finally, somebody came out and had courage to tell the truth. The truth is that Hamas is not a terrorist organization. They're fighting for their people and for their land that's been occupied for 67 years. This didn't start 2 weeks ago or October 7th. It didn't start then. This has been going on for 67 years. It's a part of the crafty council to try to massage the conversation and change the timeline so people think that this started 2 weeks ago. It did not. Do not be fooled. Now they're even saying that Hamas is equal to ISIS because they dehumanize with language. By saying Hamas is equal to ISIS, it's creating a negativity surrounding Hamas so that Israel can go in and just annihilate all of the Palestinians in Gaza. That's why they're doing it. That's why they're using this language. Wake up. And also, I like to bring this up. Judah, when you talk about the 12 tribes of Israel, Judah was the warrior tribe. They would lead the Israelites into battle. Can you imagine if Judah today was fighting? I'm talking about the real Israelites, okay? Judah today would be deemed a terrorist organization today by the powers that be because they would fight for the Israelites. So any armed resistance to oppression, occupation, slavery, apartheid, any of that, those people or those organizations under today's warped philosophy would be terrorists. They would be terrorist organizations. The tribe of Judah would be deemed a terrorist organization. Can you believe this? Can you see that? I know you guys can see that. Anybody that fights for truth and for justice and fights against oppression will be deemed a terrorist organization in this epoch that we find ourselves in the last days, in these end times. Things are coming to an end very quickly, you guys. Things are happening very quickly. Humanity is ruled by leaders and governments that have no business making decisions. These people lack courage, and they are nothing but puppets and pawns. Yeah, I said that. I said it. And you know what the other thing is that they know it. They know it. And in order for them to keep their position that they have, because remember, self-preservation is the number one goal of these leaders who are in power. It's not about helping the people and governing for the good of the people. It's about self-preservation, because power, when people get power, it's so powerful that they become engulfed by it. Like there's like a spirit of evil which governs parts of power. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like people get possessed. They can no longer do what's good for the people. They can only do what they're told and what allows them to preserve their position of power. I've been saying it, especially in some of my other videos. These people are fighting for rights. They're fighting for their land. They're fighting for their people. They're fighting for rights. They're fighting for human rights. Let me get into these scriptures. Job 9:24. This is the reason why we have these feckless leaders and these weak presidents that have no courage and that are just puppets and pawns for the machine of evil. Here's why. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The wicked control the earth. It is not the time of Israel yet, the children of Israel yet. It will be upon his second coming, which will be the dawn of the 1,000-year reign. And that is when Israel will take their place in rulership forever under Christ. Next verse, Deuteronomy 31:6. The feckless leaders and governments can learn from this. But I bring this verse out for the people as well in these last days, in these last moments, in these end times. Be strong and of good courage. Fear not. We do not have to be afraid, nor be afraid of them. For thy God, he it is that doeth go with thee. He will not fail thee nor forsake thee. So we don't have to be afraid. Be of good courage. We're going to be fine. We're all going to make it if we give our lives to Christ. Okay, but for you feckless leaders and presidents, I hope you see this video. Find some courage. You need to find some courage, or you need to give up your positions. It's that simple, because we don't have time for this lack of leadership in these end days. Next verse. This verse here that I'm bringing out, it's about us coming out of these religions. Religions are false just by being a religion, because we do not follow a religion. As Israelites, we are a covenant people, and for the Gentiles that are following the God of Israel, you need to be following these things as well. We are not religious over here. Religion is man-made, okay? And it means to divide. So you need to come out of Catholicism. You need to come out of Islam. Yeah, I said it. You need to come out of Christianity. You need to come out of this New Age stuff. You definitely need to come out of Satanism. All people need to come out of all of those things and do this. 2 Corinthians 6:17, wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith God, saith Yahweh, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. This has two meanings. One, when it's saying come out among them, it's also talking about getting out of the land, getting out of the land of Babylon for those of you in America, okay? And also it means coming out of these religions, because it's very rare, but I'm sure it exists, that verses have only one meaning. Usually at a minimum, there's two ways to see these verses, and I just showed you that here. Come out of the religions, be ye separate, stand with God, and he is going to receive you into the kingdom of heaven. Next verse, Jeremiah 51:45. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of Yahweh. Okay, so now he's saying get out of the land here, and also out of these religions, because if you're caught up in these false religions, that fierce anger of the Father is going to fall on you. But if you come out, you will be delivered. You will deliver your soul from the fierce anger of Yah. Last verse, Romans 10:9. This is what we all need to do. These are the last days. You better get your house in order right now. There is no more time. We are completely out of time. Time is up. Romans 10:9. That if thou shalt confess with thy mouth that Christ is God, and shall believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. This is what all of you need to do. All of you need to do this right now. If you're not under the safety of Christ, you need to do this right now. I'm praying for all you guys. You guys need to make it happen. Please go watch this, the World Protest for Palestine. Pandora's Box opened. I show all about all the protests that are going on across the world in support of Palestine. If you like interviews and hearing the truth spoken to the face of the feckless world leaders, you got to watch this interview here. Diana Boutou, she scorches them. Syria officially enters war, pledges military support to the Palestinian people. This man here, Mr. Khalidi here absolutely torches the establishment and the powers that be on live television. And I've got a wonderful biblical breakdown as well in this video. Go watch it. And in these final days, we must be ready for the return of Christ. Look at this video. Muslim surrenders life to Christ after terrifying encounters, and my biblical breakdown will leave you speechless. All praises to the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. This is Crown Prince Media. I am the Crown Prince. Let's go.
No one can do it better.